Hey guys. And he was kind of beating all around the bush, and he said the reason was because really the person he has back home is his spin-dom, and that she finally, and I was like, what? That's a thing?
But there's applying it, and then there's the actual action.
Right.
Like when you discipline a child. You tell
Keep going. And then when we do it, you gotta say, scissor me, daddy, like that, all right?
No, you know.
This is
Different.
not the fucking thing to do. Like,
I think that's normal.
I got you, like, buddy. I can't help her.
Minutes later, I see a pizza slide under my door. No contact. Like, I'm good.
You see the pizza slide under the door with the hands, and your fucking hand slam down on top of it and grab his.
We have an initial physical type of what we like to see initially, because our eye is always drawn to something. I can see a tall guy, big and broad shoulders, and I'm like, ooh, nice. But if he talks to me, and I'm be like, maybe not. Okay, so Mike, until we get the rest of the guys in, do you want to start with your first question for us ladies? First of all, are you drinking a Capri Sun?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. First things first, what is happening?
All right, y'all. Oh, gotta bring the mic close. I'm sorry. Okay. Welcome to the We Got Questions podcast. I am your host, Mr. Mike Hennessy. I apologize. Trying to make sure that it's good. Are we good there? Okay. All right, we here. Okay. Sorry about that. But make sure that y'all are liking, subscribing, and following everything that I have going on here at the We Got Questions podcast. Once again, it's just me, but pretty soon, hopefully we get our basic one back here. But I said, it's with Mike, but I always keep my stuff the same. You got to keep my stuff the same. Got to keep it rolling. So, but as you can see, everything is down there. We are on, I don't know if you're on Twitter like that, but on YouTube, We Got Questions. We're also live on Spotify. You can also find a podcast on Spotify. I think it's on Apple Music. It's on a couple of different things. So anywhere that you get your podcasting stuff from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you can watch it there. Make sure that you'll follow Mike Hennessy on all platforms. Rather, it is here. I have my live on my YouTube page, Mike Hennessy 215, and I'm also live right now on my Facebook, but I don't really care too much for that. I just try to get that for people that want to, sit back and watch it at some point. But live here on the YouTube, make sure that y'all subscribing to us and sharing it out to a person that will benefit from this conversation. Make sure you're liking and following us and sharing it out to everybody. So on that note, tonight's conversation is right there. Communication on all levels of relationship. And we're just not even just talking about just romantic relationships. We're going to try to share some experiences about romantic relationships, but also like friendships, people at job, and people in your everyday life, family, that's a thing too. So talking about that, yeah, we're going to try to have a conversation, an in-depth conversation about all of that. So, like I said, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It's right there. Come out of whoever's here, come out of the comments and go to that like button and shit. Hit that like button out. So, and then also, the premise of this too is for everybody else to join in and have conversation with us as well. If you come in and have a conversation, you'll be able to have your questions answered right here on a podcast, or if you're really feeling brave. And remember, what I do on this podcast is just strictly about the podcast. We ain't talking about no other crazy stuff. There won't be no sports talk. There won't be this. There won't be that. We're talking about topics on the podcast. That's basically all we're doing, So we won't veer the other way. But anybody want to come on the podcast, I can send a link and put it right there in the description. Anybody can come on up, come sit back and have some dope conversations with us and sit back and enjoy themselves. So right now I'm just sharing this out to people because I got to get some people to come in and watch us, sending it out to their friends and stuff, the norms. But I have decided to come back with this and get this thing going. So we're going to do some general things about, you know, the conversations around it and stuff like that. So general questions around Black relationships. I'm gonna throw some general things in here, and you know, we're going to talk about it right here. But everybody that's on here, you can go ahead and answer this as well. So first question: how were emotions and communications modeled in your family growing up? This is a fun question. So this general question: how were emotions and communications modeled in your family growing up? I would say it was an up and down situation, you know, like I think the nucleus of the situation is how do I pay attention to the emotions of what was happening at that time, like being a child and trying to understand what love looks like, you know, the love that my mom had for all her children, the love that the people around me had, like my grandmother, my grandfather, brothers, sisters, stepfather, other cousins and family members, is, you know, like that. Trying to understand the love languages that they had, you know, like the stuff that they had growing up. I would say, like I said, it's more or less, it's in the middle to me. And what I mean by that is that, like, everybody had, you know, for us, we didn't have a tough upbringing, but because my mom was really good at like, my mom was really good at not letting us not know that she really was struggling. I don't know if she's ever like severely struggling, but it was enough that, you noticed it. You notice certain things, like, and then like the dopest part about that is like I learned that you do what it takes to sometimes make people happy. Not all the time, sure. Like in my adult life is a little bit different, but when I was a child and you have children, you kind of do what you got to do to make sure that they're happy. And that, I would say, like, I was trying to make sure that my daughter was happy at this point in my life. So I think that I learned that from my mom. And like when we would want to play the Super Nintendo, I remember like we would have friends that would bring like Street Fighter 2 over. I'm telling my age, but I don't care. Like back in like 92, 93, one of my friends would bring Street Fighter 2 over. And we were like, Mom, we just want Street Fighter 2. We want this, we want that. And I remember my mom came up to me and she put something in my hand. She was like, here, this is yours. And I looked at it and I was like, what is this? She put Street Fighter 2 in my hand and she's like, don't show your brothers them right now. And I hid that from them for about a month and they didn't even know I had it. That's the part right there that's the funniest, because they did not know that I had Street Fighter 2. And that was a part of like that level of communication that my mom, you know, instilled in me. Like, yo, hold on to this and hold on to that and show them at this time so we can all be happy. But she let me hold on to Street Fighter 2. And I hid that thing very well. That's the part I hid it. And then I think not too long, like after that month, my mom bought the Super Nintendo because she got the game. She held on to the game, but I think she was like taking like little bits and pieces of stuff and like, yo, bro, what's going on? What up with you, brother? This is a good episode, bro. If you got some time, sit back and chill. You know, it's gonna be a good one. Well, that's my guy Vis. Make sure that y'all see Vis right there. Make sure y'all follow him. He talk everything sports. We're gonna link up together and get some special stuff going real soon. But like I said, my mom, like I could tell she was just little by little doing the little things, you know, to try to surprise us and really put it. Even though she probably had her moments where she was like cussing us out in the midst of it and all that other stuff, like she still like went and bought these things and bought the stuff that we asked for. Like, because we wanted Street Fighter 2, we wanted Contra 3 Aliens Wars, we wanted Aladdin. That was the game that I wanted so bad. Aladdin on Super Nintendo, that's what I wanted. But I remember my mom bought that Super Nintendo out. I think that was one of the happiest days of my life. But it helped me understand that people have their ways of how they show love. My mom showed me love in the sense of, yeah, she didn't get it for us right away, but she silently went and tapped into that for us. She went and got that Super Nintendo and spent her hard-earned money on that, because Super Nintendo was the same price that most of these games are now, and people didn't know that. The games are cheap now compared to what it was back in the day. Like, we looked at the prices of how much Super Nintendo games cost. They were like $60. And people were like, oh, our games ain't expensive. They've always been expensive. So that's something that's just like I said, it's something that I marvel, and it's something that I love. But that was a form of communication styles. Another one that I can throw in there was, and anybody that's in the chat, go ahead, please tell me about this question right here. How was it for y'all as well? And I'll make sure I put that up for you. The way our communication was with my mom's, it was a little different. Like, if we was on some bullshit, we fighting and everything like that, our communication was, no, we're gonna knuckle that shit up. No, we're gonna put you on the room. Go ahead, rumble it out, fight it out. Because that was her way of communicating with us, letting us know, you fight your brother, you get strong with your brother. When the kids out in these streets, you're gonna rumble together. So that was like a little bit of her thing. And plus, man, just sitting around her and watching funny ass movies and laughing with her. Like, she would laugh at our cartoons because, it was our stuff, but she would laugh with us about our cartoons. My mom was tapped in with us, and that was something that was dope of her. And I really, really appreciate and love that about her. Like, listen, that's my dog. I ain't gonna hold you. My mom is my dog. Like, that, she cool as fuck. She don't remember a goddamn thing. That's the part. You remind my mom about this stuff. Hey, mom, remember this happened? No. Of course you don't. Like, you just now do something. You the angel. You're an angel now, mother. You know nothing now. She don't know what the hell happened yesterday. Now you tell her about all the stuff that happened. I ain't never do that. I ain't never do that. And then you're sitting there like, Mom, what the and it's just now we all, we're confused and, feel like a slapped ass because you don't know what the hell is going on. She don't remember shit. It's just, fun times, fun times. But that was something that was a communication style in our families growing up. So, and that's a part of just and on top of that, like, all this stuff can kind of show what your relationship looked like, because how your relationship was with your mom and your dada and whoever else raised you, your grandmother and all them, that's something that, that's something that could play into your life, All right. Gonna go kind of head on more or less to let me see. I'm trying to give y'all something that we can all talk about. Just different communication styles of things. And I think a lot of y'all would like this as well. So I don't know if everybody is watching that said they was going to watch, but hey, whoever's here, I appreciate you. All right. So in a I guess, how would I say it? In a response to what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and throw this question in there. And let's do this as our race, as who we are as people, anything like that. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Sorry, wrong one. How has being black shaped the way we communicate love, vulnerability, or strength? Yeah, let's talk about that. So, does anybody in here feel like who we are as people, who we are as black people, who we are as all the things, is that something that we can sit back and say, like, being this has really shaped us this way? Because being black is one of the beautifulest things on the face of this planet, but it's also one of the roughest. And I'll explain. The reason why I say that it's rough is because a lot of our parents come from descendants of all of our parents or grandparents. Some of our parents are in the 70s or 60s and 70s. So some of our parents are descendants of slavery. And a lot of the times when they had their freedom and they were able to do stuff, it modeled a lot of it modeled the slavery things, I guess, discipline, the way that we were disciplined and told to be obedient and respect, and how we build a household, how we respect our women, how we do a lot of that stuff has legitimately played a factor in it. And I would say through love, it's played a factor in Black people, because I've been around so many different groups of people, my friends, my family, and how we love and stuff like that. But I'm usually around people that love a certain way. I don't stick around people who are a certain, disrespect or anything like that. I stick around people more or less who love. I've been to events and stuff like that. Like some of the blackest events I'm talking about, where they play that house music, that what do you call that? The Caribbean music, stuff like that. I watch love through that stuff. Like, them people be loving on each other. A lot of those come with their wives, come with their girlfriends. Nobody over here touching on nobody and doing nothing crazy. And that's just one little element, tiny element. But nobody is doing nothing, astronomical or out of line. You just kind of just seeing love. And then you do see the other side of things where, some people only know how to love through the bullshit, like they only know how to love a certain way. So but we communicate love a certain way too. Like, a lot of us try to do it based off of what we've had in the past. Like, a lot of people say, I want that old school love, I want this. But sometimes that old school love wasn't a great love. It just wasn't. Sometimes you don't know your grandmother and grandfather's story of their love, like the problems that they really went through. But you do have stories where you hear the greatest things. Like, some people got grandparents who absolutely loved each other. I've heard people say that they've had grandparents that dance with each other a lot. They love on each other a lot. And, I feel like that's something that today's society systemically try to push us away from, because they don't want us to look. They don't want to show that real version of what we really are. A lot of us love on each other. A lot of us are married. A lot of us are together. And sometimes it's only the only time they show it in the news is if something crazy is happening. So, yeah. Vulnerability has always been a thing for me as well. Being vulnerable has not always been the best thing. I have had people use my vulnerability against me, and it's not fun at fucking all. And I think everybody should know, like, when you're vulnerable, that shit is not fun. It isn't, because you're trusting a person with information that you are handing out to them, and you're hoping that they don't utilize that information against you the wrong way. Now, that's no matter if you friend, family, lady in your life, male in your life, an other, it don't matter. Like, you're telling a person, hey, I trust you with this information, and seeing if they're going to utilize that against you. And that has been utilized against me in the past. All right, Barry, thank you. Come, welcome in. Share it out to people. Hey, if y'all here, share it out to people. I really appreciate y'all coming through. Anybody, like I said, you want to come up and talk and have this conversation with me, please come in and have the conversation. Don't be shy. Don't be anything. It is a fun conversation. This is just to get to know who you are as a person, as a human being, but it's also sharing our experiences and the things that we do within Black love and Black conversations, and how do we communicate and how we do things with each other. And this is on all levels, like I said. So, yes, the strength of Black communication is that when we are together, we are fucking together. A lot of us had, when we locked in, we locked in. Me, my brothers, my cousins, my family, all of us, when it's time to go in, we ain't deviating from this. Like, nah, you're going to hear from everybody. The ones that is like the core ones. Like, we're not deviating from that. That ain't happening, partner. That ain't happening. So, yeah, we, I would say that, like I said, the Black strength in Black people when it comes to communication can be extremely effective. It can be. Sometimes I do wish we had that I wish we didn't deal with the systemic things, and we had such disconnect sometimes when it comes to our communication, because a lot of people are is what it is type of people. A lot of people will display banal platitude all the fucking time. Like, and it's like, yo, nah, it ain't always that. Nah. A lot of people will display that shit all the time. It does not have to exist for you. Like, sometimes things are actually fucking good. Sometimes things are actually this. Like, you don't have to sit back and be in that space and be in that fucking, that level of something. Like, we don't have to be there. We got strength behind us. And our word is, well, listen, when we talk, you feel that shit. A lot of us, when they talk, we feel that shit. I can sit back and sit here and say, our mothers, for the ones that know, our mothers, when they got furious and mad and they wanted to go the fucking, and you heard that roar, that's what it sounded like when your mom yelled at you. It was like a roar, like they was getting down and fucking gritty with you, and your ass, you cowered the fuck away. No matter how big or small you are, you just kind of cower away and just deal with it, like in your own sin, your own way. Not a lot of people deal with it now, but just in our own way, you deal with it. Like I said, it's just, you know, that's something that I will say that, you know, I will be between these three. Love, vulnerability, and communication. Those are my stances on those. So, all right, let's go to a little bit more interpersonal thing. We're going to talk about the relationship factor right now, and it's more or less like me and you, you know, the me and you situation. And if anybody, like, let me make this disclaimer: anything that I put on here, if it triggers you, please take your time. If you need to take a step away from the podcast, please do, because I do not want to trigger or target or make you feel like this has anything to do with you in particular. You are here because you're strong, and that's good enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, but if you do need to take a step back from whatever I post up, whatever I say, because of past experiences, and sometimes it's just too hard to talk about, please, like, you take a step back away from it if you have to, you know. So, how do we each handle conflict, and what triggers shutdown or defensiveness? Oh, conflict. Okay, so conflict with me, I would say, it's something that I try to work on as much as I possibly can, because I am passionate. Sometimes I get passionate, and that shit gets confused for rage and anger. And I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm just extremely passionate. I'm going to say some shit because I might know something in this moment. I might be like, yo, actively, like, I know what the fuck is going on, but I have to sit in here. My problem with all of this is that within that stuff, and this is what I notice about myself, the triggering happens, the targeting happens, a shutdown, then it's playing defense. All these things manifest and try to happen, and it's almost like, how do you take care of that? How can you come back from that? How can you get a person back on your team? How can you help, you know, bring somebody back into the fold of the conversation? What strategy can you have to kind of like handle these things? Everybody has that, but it's almost like you got to have a person that has a lot of emotional intelligence, or either maybe like a lot of self-control within the situation to be able to come into this argument, to come into a conflict, to come into anything that could possibly do something and tell me verbatim, or give me something that doesn't, that helps with the conversation. Because the triggers, shut down, and the defensiveness, it's legitimately one of the biggest problems that has happened to me in my relationships. Those things kick in. Only thing you got to do is just you try to manage them as much as you fucking can. You try to manage them, and you try to do what you can with them. It's more or less something that I have to pay more attention to. I have to study a little bit more into, put myself in a position to be better with it and talk to more people. Sorry. Talk to more people, get more people to see what the conversation, see, okay, hey, am I wrong for this? Am I wrong for that? And give the actual factual story, and give everything that's going to be able to help with the situation. Because at this point, I'm like, I'm screaming for that shit. Like, somebody help me, because it's getting bad. Like, so that is something that I would say, like I said, you know, we tried our best to grow from and grow into, and it's like I said, triggers and shutdowns. I try to handle it as best as I can. Sometimes I have sat in it and then not respected the trigger that I've caused or the shutdown that I have caused, because sometimes I want to fix it so much I don't know what to do. But then I kind of get to the point where I'm rambling now, or I'm frustrated myself, or I'm this or I'm that, and it's like, how do I do that? Defensiveness, I don't know that I'm defending. I would say actively defending. I don't know that. Sometimes I'm being told, but then it don't make sense to me if I'm being told that I'm defending. And like, fuck, I don't feel like I'm defending. What is the defense? You know, what is this? What is that? But it's almost like, I guess I'm trying to handle it by asking the questions. What am I doing? What is this? What is that? And then sometimes when it ain't coming back the right way, you know, that's what makes the conflict even bigger than what it is. So I'm hoping I answered that as best as I could. Anybody that is in here right now, please write what you need to write in there for as far as that. If anybody would like me to spend more time on this topic, I don't mind that either. Like, let me know. Let me know, hey, stay here. Let's stay here. Give me something. Ask me a question. You know, I got plenty of people in here. You know, don't just watch me. Talk to me. Because, you know, it's we got questions. Y'all got questions? I got questions. So, and I'm going to answer my questions. But I would say for y'all, you know, if that's the case, how do y'all handle conflict? Do you feel like that's the most effective way that you're handling this conflict? And do you think, because you might know how to kind of do it, do you know that the person really is accepting of the conflict, or are they just giving you respect, or are they just compromise themselves? And sometimes that happens and you don't even know it. And while we get to that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to another part of this. So now, while we're dealing with conflict, it's another one. What do you need to feel truly heard and understood by your partner? That's a thing where it's like, to be truly understood by my partner, I just need my partner to understand that I'm always on their team and I'm always on their side. As long as we have that respect for each other, and as long as we understand it about each other, we'll be good. But we got to know that. We got to know that, hey, I'm here to take care of you in this situation. And if I'm not, let me know. Communication. This is the whole point of this conversation. Communication. Effective communication, especially if a person wants to know what the hell is going on. If they want to know what's going on, they're going to tell you what's going on. They're going to want to know what's going on. And that's how I choose to look at that situation. I want the person to, you know, to understand that I'm here. And on a more personal side of it, understand that I might not get everything, that I might not get it the first time. Shit, I might not even get it the second time. But patience with my process and how I process is a thing for me, because I don't ever want to get into a point where I'm having like to talk so much that I'm losing you and I'm losing the conversation, or you're losing me and you're losing the conversation. Because at some point, accountability has to kick in within that argument. And if nobody's accountable, you're going to lead to problems. And sure, I might be one, Nat. What up, Nat? Nat, you see the question? If you want to, I'll give you the first one, and then this is the next question if you want to answer this. But like I said, and I want to be okay. I got you, Mark. Give me 1 second. That's how I feel like I can be truly understood out of something. So, you know, it's something that, you know, like I said, you desire it. You want somebody to understand you the right ways for you, especially if you kind of communicating certain things back to them. So, Marcus says, what's effective communication? Effective communication is basically just kind of just listening first, learning and understanding, but also giving your own point of views and all of that too. Being able to talk a certain way and be heard at the same time. So listen, learn, adjust. Then you're also can they listen, learn, and adjust? I think that's more or less effective communication for me personally. I don't know for sure if that's an accurate statement, but I just feel like effective communication is listen, learn, apply, or adjust. Because sometimes to understand something, you got to ask before you even ask the right question. You got to learn what is actually going on. So I don't know if that answers you, but hey, I gotta fix that. I didn't know that word was all fucked up. When did I do that? Oh, wait. Here it go. It wasn't up there on my screen. I don't know what was going on. But if anybody else want to answer those, go ahead. Marcus out. Like I said, this was Marcus' question to everybody. So what is effective communication? What does that look like? What does that smell like? Mark, if you want to come up, I can post it in the thing. I'll just put it there. If you don't want to come up, hey, no hard feelings about that. So, and remember, anybody that can come up, you can also stream from your personal platform as well. So just know, if you come up here and you want to be in your target audience, you can share your stuff out to other people, and they can sit back and watch you do you. You know what I mean? So, all right. And that this is I don't know if y'all still here, but this was the first one up here. That was the first one. How do we each handle conflict? And what triggers shutdown? Triggers shutdown or defensiveness? Like, what triggers the shutdown or defensiveness? What triggers that? I don't even know if I effectively answered that question. Maybe I did. I don't know. All right. So, going on to the next one. How do we make space for both partners to speak without interrupting or judgment? How do we do that? How do we make space for that? Let me see. Spend more time on trigger shutdowns. Okay, I'll come back to that. All right. So she said, go back to that. Let's go ahead and hold off on this one. So we're gonna throw that one back up there for everybody. All right. So triggers. What triggers shutdowns? Triggering shutdowns can be. I think those are when you take the personal shots. The personal shots, the over talking, the yelling. Sometimes when you are saying things in a relation or in the argument or the conversation that is taking their voice away. In their sense, making, someone feeling like you're taking their voice away from them. They feel like you haven't given them the space that maybe they needed. Or like I said, you said something very personal that triggers them to not want to talk anymore now. I think those are what triggers shutdowns. It's not a fun thing to do to somebody. It's actually pretty scary because that person can feel like they're about to be harmed. That person can feel like they don't have a voice no more and they're scared. They could potentially be scared of you. And that's something that, in a sense of how we communicate and and do our communications now, how do we take care of a person even in that situation? Because sometimes the shutdown is loud and it's almost like you can't do nothing about that. At that moment, you can't do nothing about it. You can say whatever, but you can't do nothing about it. Maybe a tactic could be, hey, I understand that I just shut you down or you're quiet now, but I want you to know that I love and care for you, and I'm sorry. And I would like to allow us to have the time to take for ourselves so you can gather your thoughts. Effective maybe in that type of way. I don't know for sure. As a healthy way and approach in a conflict is to apply reinsurance for me first and make sure we understand we are not opponents. Yes. Yep. That's what I was saying earlier. Like telling a person that you're on their team and telling them, listen, I'm with you. We're having a conversation. This is an argument or a debate or whatever it is. It's pretty bad, but I'm still with you. Sometimes you do that, that person can, or you can actually lighten up your own load, But do you want to answer this one as far as what triggers your shut? a little personal. What triggers a shutdown or makes you defensive? You know, like what does that do? Give them the floor. Yeah. Yep. What up, Davania? How are you? How have you been? I'm glad that you have made it in. That means you got the notification bell and you knew somebody was live. Welcome back to the We Got Questions podcast. She says, have you heard of the Four Horsemen? Ric Flair and them, yeah, but I ain't heard of the other stuff. What up? How are you? Divinia, these are the questions right here. How do we each handle conflict and what triggers shutdown or defensiveness? What about these things that does it? You know, what triggers these things? What is setting people off? What is putting people in a frenzy? Like, what is it that is happening that is effectively fucking with people, basically? Or like, what are you doing? What is happening to you? Like, what type of stuff like that is a bother? I know one is stonewalling. Oh, okay. Stonewalling. Okay. Do you feel like that people do that all the time? Like with stonewalling? Like, is that something that people tend to like, do you do that? Just a question. You don't have to answer that. That's personal. That is personal. So if you feel like all right. Do you think that when conflict gets to arguments and shutdowns, it's already blown past safeguards, trust, effective communication, and or boundaries? Yes and no. Yes and no. Some people can just shut down because they're, you know, an argument in past relationships have like made them do that, so they could potentially default to that. So I don't always think that's the case. I just think that it's a chance that all those things that you just said is what has happened to make a person shut down. In my own experience, I know what it's like to progress an argument, obviously. So yeah, I would say in a sense, yeah. So it's a yes and no for me. I can't say 100% that it is that, because my experiences won't tell me that that's an actual thing. But in other people's experiences and what they've been through and the stuff that they've done, yeah, I would say so. So it's just a mix of who has experienced those things and how it's being done. So, yeah. Okay, so you're saying that it's one of the Four Horsemen. Okay, I get it now. I get it. All right. So let's look up the Four Horsemen. Is that in communications or just relationships? Four horsemen. Okay, so I see it. The Four Horsemen in relationship is criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Okay, these behaviors identified by relationships research. Okay, John Gottman can be overcome by replacing them with their corresponding antidotes, like using I statements, expressing appreciation, accepting responsibility, and taking breaks to self-soothe. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I actively maybe try to get away from the Four Horsemen thing. Yeah, definitely try to do that. Or try to say, hey, let's move past this, or let's try to do this thing. Consoling and making sure that you know, take your responsibility when it's time to take that. Like, yeah. I don't stonewall. It's the silent treatment. Okay. That's what stonewalling is, the silent treatment. All right. Oh, yeah, that is something that has happened to me. You get that silent treatment and you don't know what to do. You just kind of stuck. And it's like the silent treatment. Yeah, that's a thing. Now let me ask you this. Imagine if you were if y'all just having an argument, but you're the one that shut down. How do you still effectively communicate with a person? How do you still not do the stonewalling? How do you still not do the criticism and the contempt and the defensiveness, as I said? How do you do that stuff? How do you get to a space where you don't actively do these things? Because obviously it's something. So how are you able to muster up the strength to be able to come out of that and still say, hey, I understand how this, how that? Or is it just like, it's hard? It's extremely hard. I've definitely been guilty of stonewalling, but I've grown and realized when I'm wrong. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That. I'd rather stick a pin in something if I feel. I get you. Okay, I think I'm saying. I guess you're saying if I feel the communication is not progressing. Understood. Yep. I get that. I talk about myself only. Use I statements. Okay, so it's there's things that you ladies, I'm sorry, that y'all pay attention to when it comes to the communication styles and effectiveness behind the communication that is happening even in a bad situation. Okay. So here goes a tricky one. How do you treat your family when it comes to this stuff? Like our relationships we hold so dear to us that how do we treat our families? Do we treat our families the same way? Because I know a lot of us live in the, the love. What do you call that? What is it called? That Marcus don't believe that we display. You yell, okay. I yell, okay. Understood. Unconditional love, yeah, that thing. When people say unconditional love, and do we display that into our families? So a lot of us have abilities to just, they don't give a damn about it. Look, if you are damaging to me, all that shit don't mean nothing. So how do we treat our family when it comes to stuff like that? Because if you can get into a situation in a bad fight with a person that you are with, that you are choosing to be with, this is your partner, this is your person in life, right? And you're sitting there and you're like arguing and fighting with them, and you can break up with them and not be with them ever again, right? How do you? We know, Mark. We know. I just threw that in there. I said some people still have that mentality of something. That's all it is. All love has conditions. Hell yeah. But I'm kind of remembering my point. Oh, like, do we break up with our family the same exact way we break up with our relationships? Do we break up with our friends quick? Do we do all those things, or do we try to work it out the same way we say we do in our relationships? Is everything just hey, we're done? Or do we actually try to work it out? Because this isn't just about the relationships, it's about everything. So it's like the conflict that you are having with your friends, the uncomfortability of the conflict, all that stuff that you do, is it just an axe it off and that's just it? Because some people I understand. So you'll cut anybody off in a bad conversation just because the conversation is bad. That means the relationships in your family and friendships is over because y'all have a bad conflict with each other. Now the only thing is, how do we take all this good and don't take none of this bad? You're going to have situations. Yeah, I did. I said that. I definitely said that. I said when you have those bad situations like you do in a relationship, but I said we break up in relationships because it got tough. That's what I'm basically alluding to. It got tough in the relationships, and we break up in it because it's got bad. Because we're not, the communication, it was weird, or it was this way. Y'all two different people. You're going to run into a situation like that. Just saying. Anybody can get cut off, family included, if they go too far. Yeah, of course. Listen, I completely understand about going too far, going somewhere where it's just like, hey, you went somewhere, then it's just nah, bro, nah. Like obviously we know what would do that quick, I'm talking about bad communication conversations. That's all. Just having a bad conversation. This is one of y'all first times ever having a bad conversation like this. I don't think it'd be a situation. Saying bad situation is vague. Then you said if a conversation goes bad. Well, yeah, doesn't mean what if it's bad overall, it's going to be a bad conversation, right? If y'all have a bad conversation, the situation is the conversation. Like that's the whole thing. Like this whole thing is the bad conversation that y'all having. If y'all have a bad conversation, this is what, the same way you would possibly do it in a relationship where y'all having disagreements, where y'all having this and all this shit just starts happening. I've seen people with friendships get personal with each other. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen. It's misplaced anger. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Like that's the part. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Hold on. What we're saying is we hold the same standards for getting cut no matter who you are. Yeah, but that's also depending on what happened within it as well. That's the point. It's depending on what happened within it. I'm just talking about a relationship-based thing, like something that you can, hey, look, I would say make your imagination for what you want it to be. If you feel as though it has taken it to the point of no return, then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. I'm just talking about the same way you have had a bad conversations or bad things within the relationship itself. If you have a bad thing that has happened in a relationship, do you end it right away? Mark, I'm not going to explain it, but I've seen a situation with you that was extremely bad. I seen it happen. That's my point. You see the thing happen and it's like, does that get cut off? Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes you go and you try to understand what this person possibly went through or possibly what happened with this or whatever, because it was a bad situation. It was enough that would make you break up with somebody, sure. To stay in sucky situations, yeah, I get it. Bad conversations can turn good through understanding, empathy, forgiveness, and accountability. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Who's willing to stick in that? And then I could be saying all this wrong. I could be saying this all completely wrong. I'm just throwing it out there that if it looks the same way of doing a bad argument in a relationship, that the same way in this bad argument in this friendship, people sometimes you go and save the relationship because maybe y'all just had a bad time. This has happened. It got bad. It got bad. Things were said. But you run for everybody because things are said a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a difference between completely trying to fuck something up, like targeting my child, targeting our children, targeting, all this other stuff, causing person strife and finances and doing this and doing like we know the extreme side of it. I'm just talking about the borderline bad conversation that y'all had where y'all arguing, it's yelling, y'all might have said a little bit of personal shit to each other. That's what I mean. Is that worth leaving it all alone? And it's just, we're done. Is it worth that? This is just a basic question. It can be yes for y'all. I don't care. I'm not sitting back saying, well, why do you do this? I'm just saying, is it worth it at that point? Is it worth it? Is it easy for you to just leave it because you had a bad situation, a bad argument? I'm just saying, is that worth it? That's all. All the things that you know about it, what, that all these particular words, the ignoring, the somebody's playing defense now, you're fighting over shit, y'all argue like cats and dogs because of y'all disagreement. A disagreement is a disagreement. It happens in life. I'm sorry, but I'm the person that, hey, I will celebrate with you, but I'm also going to fucking argue with you as well, too. I'm not going to sit back and take all the good and say, oh, great. But then when something gets bad, it's like, oh, I'm done with you. Nah, bro, because you celebrated with me when we was happy. We're going to celebrate this anger, too. We mad at each other. It's okay. Come on, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Let's get that part out the way and then go do this part. That's just me. That's just Mike. I'm not saying it has to be everybody else, but that's just me. I'm willing to argue with somebody. I'm not about detriment. There's a difference. I'm not about detriment. I'm about, we had a bad situation. We had this. We had that. And that's it. That's all. All right. I'm sorry. Let me get to y'all stuff. I'm just talking shit, y'all. Let's get it. All right. There's context needed because you can have a really great conversation about a bad conflict within the relationship, and it still means the relationship might have to end. Yeah, no doubt. But I think that when we talk about this, we go to the absolute extreme. That's why I said, like, of course, context is going to be there, but we're going to go to the extreme because we're just looking at, okay, you did this to put me in this situation. I'm done with you. Okay. Like I said, it's depending on what happens. That's why I explain. If you talking some crazy detrimental type shit, that's different than just y'all had a fucked up argument between each other, a disagreement. Y'all could have argued about going out and hanging out or some shit like that, and it just got out of control because y'all mad it didn't work out that way. People have relationship arguments like that all the fucking time. Like, that's what I'm saying. And people have ended relationships off of things like that. Oh man, I ain't like what you did as far as when we went out, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have the conflict. And what's wrong with that? Is that little bit is enough to make you out and leave? I'm all about the good times. Hell yeah. But if it's time to rumble, I'm with you. We're going to fucking rumble. Not physically, but just like we're going to get it in this conversation. I'm not going to back down from a conversation. We're talking. That's all. I will make sure to go to a dinner or cookout for family or call a family meeting. Okay. I think it takes more than one time. It had to be a pattern of behavior. Yes. My peace over everything. Yeah. Hell yeah. No doubt. It depends on the situation. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm listening to everything somebody's saying. I'm just speaking my experience. That's all. I ain't challenging none of y'all. Don't shoot the messenger about this shit. I'm just saying stuff. Shit. Like I said, I could be completely off and wrong about the whole situation. And guess what? Okay, I got y'all. I'm wrong. I'll take it. I don't mind that at all. I got about 15 minutes, y'all. Anybody that want to come up, I'm gonna put the link inside the comments. You click the link in the comments, and then y'all can come on up. Let's see. I gotta go to the YouTube to do this. All right, here we go. Make sure that please, y'all are on Facebook. They ain't click on goddamn Facebook. Sorry, y'all. Man, now I gotta find a freaking cop. Oh, wait, I can do it right here. Duh. Sorry, y'all. It is right here in the comments. If you want to come up, go ahead and click that link right there. We got Questions Podcast. Click that link. It's going to show you on 3 different things because that's just what it is. But I got about 15 minutes. So if y'all want to come up, chit chat, talk, shoot the shit. Mark, I sent the thing out to you on Facebook. If you want to come up, I don't care if y'all want to jump in my ass about what I said. Hey, don't matter to me. I'm having a good conversation. We got Questions hasn't been on in a while, and I'm just enjoying this. So the link is right there. But let's go ahead and get back to some more. Is there anything else you want me to stay on top of? You know, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. I don't mind, you know, because all of it ties into the same thing. So I'm here trying to get Yes and Doll over. Oh, okay. Listen, I only got 15 minutes, so don't even worry about it. They just gonna have to watch it back. But let's see. So let's put this here because I want to ask this one too. Before I get to that one, also, like I said, thank y'all for watching. Of course, I'm just trying to every Monday just give y'all about an hour of my time to be able to do this. A little bit over an hour. I really appreciate y'all coming and at least just watching and getting back with us. I'm gonna try my best to go ahead and do my thing with it as much as I possibly can, but I would love to have more people come up and talk some stuff. But this is fun too. I never really cared to do this side of things, but the fact that y'all are here makes it even better for me. So, but all right, since we're moving on to the next one, like I said, I was asking, we're going to throw this one up here. I had it up earlier. How do we make space for both partners to speak without interruption or judgment? That's a mindset for me. That's just like sometimes you just gotta dial it back for yourself. Like, all right, mentally just shut the fuck up and create the space to just fully listen. But is the listening actually active listening too? Are you actively listening? That's been a little bit of a problem of mine, but I think like I have a stemming thing I like this for me. Like if I'm thinking too hard, I will look at something else. or I will do something. I'll pick my phone up and go like, hey, touch it or do something. But I'm actually listening. That's the bad part about it. Like, it looks like I'm not paying no attention. I'm like, no, I'm paying full attention. I think I'm just trying to have a thing. Like, it's just me, like trying to just do it. Like trying to listen and not, you know, and it not be a situation, you know. So yeah, I think that's the thing for me. Anybody else feel like that you kind of listen and not do something? And I think the judgment part is this part that you try to understand the most, because I think sometimes you have a situation where it's about you. It is 100% about you. And if you feel like it's false, or it's like, oh, that ain't me. I don't know what we're talking about, but that ain't me. What do we do with that? I've had situations where that has happened. So you don't want to say nothing and you try your best, like, not me having to guess. And why are you so close to the camera, Davinia? Why are you so close to the camera?
Because I'm holding my camera.
Turn it to the side so you can make a full screen.
Really?
Do you have your camera? I mean, your thing on?
I think, but that didn't work with me last time when I came on here either. Let's see. Okay. Do I have my thingy on?
You just got to turn it.
Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Hey!
Did it work?
No, you didn't turn it to the side, did you?
Hold on 1 second.
Both had to be emotionally intelligent and make sure to actually listen and not respond just to respond. Yep. You're right, Nat. Bam! Look at that. Poof! And she's here. What up?
Hey.
How are you? Welcome.
I'm great.
Welcome in. You ready to answer some questions? I see, huh?
I mean, why not?
Yeah, we here. So I would say with this one, like I said, because only about 10 minutes. I got 11 minutes. So we can talk about it. I can hear myself.
Right here. Let's see. How we make space for both partners to speak without interruption or judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta get technical with that, because you gotta check. You gotta check both people. You gotta give somebody the space to say what they need to say without interruption. And there's a method they teach where you let your partner speak for whatever amount of time they're supposed to speak for, and then you run back what they said, like a shortened version. Like, okay, if you were telling me about your day, I'll be like, okay, so if I heard you correctly, this and this happened today, and it made you feel like this. And if I was wrong, that would be your chance to correct me. Just to make sure I understand what you're saying, because we think communication is straightforward, but it's not always. And so somebody's ability to communicate what they mean might vary. So, just because you said it this way doesn't mean I heard it that way, or you thought you were portraying something that you didn't portray. So if I literally be like, well, this is what I got from it, is that correct? And you say yes or no. And if it's no, then you reiterate. That's what I learned in couples therapy. That's for people who are actively listening. I think that's what it's called, active listening.
Yeah, it's a part of my modern love language.
Active listening, yes.
Yeah, I try my best. It's very tough sometimes. That is one of the tougher ones to do, because you want to be effective and active listening. And that shit gets tough because you be like, fuck. Like, that there's something wrong in what's being said to you. And you like, I want to say it so bad. And it's like, yo, just shut the fuck up and listen. Just shut the fuck up and listen.
That's the difference between listening to understand and listening to respond, right?
Right.
When you're like, make it a list in your head. It's like, no, they wrong on this. I'm gonna come back over that.
Right, yo, that's how it be. It'd be like that so much for me. It'd be like you hearing this, like, okay, but you did what? That shit teetering. Hold up, I gotta come back to that one, and then you keep on going. And they say some other shit.
I love a good debate.
Right.
You know what I mean? That wasn't quite right. But when you do that, you're too busy trying to keep your notes in order than to actually
Right.
listen to what the person is saying.
Right.
So I think that's a method that I actually learned, that if you can remember to implement it, and I feel like that's in one of those, for me, it'd probably be in a more planned situation, a more
Yeah.
controlled setting.
Yeah.
Because if you catch me off guard, you're probably not going to get that energy from me.
Exactly. All them off guard joints be like, hey, yo, what you want me to do with this? Like, I want you to figure it out. They're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what do you want me to do here? Oh my gosh. Like, I really feel like I should do a part 2 to this. I should definitely do a part 2 to this next week. I have way more. You got to see this side of my screen over here. It's like, I have like 15 questions. I've only done 5. Yeah, I have 15. Yeah.
They were good questions though, so that makes sense that they took up some time.
Oh yeah. So, I want to throw one more in there for you.
Sure.
And that'd probably be a good way to end it off. You gotta come back. You know, you come back early. Shit, you just do the podcast. Come on there. All right. This is a fun one because now we're going to talk about the generations. Are there generational communication patterns we want to break? The fuck yeah. Like what?
Absolutely.
Yes, we all know what that is. And that kind of leads to my question that I had earlier. So my question earlier, I'm gonna read this to you. And I really would like for you to answer a particular one because it's a question on here that I think you would like. So the first question that I asked was, how are emotions and communications modeled in your family growing up? That's a part of the same exact question, just in a different way. So I also talked about the things that before everybody come on here, talked about like how my mom was with us as far as the love that she had and how she has showed it. It was like a hit or miss thing. It wasn't like she missed, like in the sense, but just my mom grew up a certain way. She's a Gen X. My grandmother is a baby boomer, and before her was slave descendants. So it was like it was modeled a certain way, you know. Like my mom and them got their behinds whooped. You know, they got it was a certain way they was talked to, a certain way they grew up in a certain way, and it was applied to us the same way. A little tiny bit more lenient, but definitely applied to us the same way. So I was just talking about like my mom was very good in her emotions in her own way. She wasn't like a super duper loving person. But she did do it periodically. Like sometimes she would just grab us up and hug us and kisses and stuff, but she wasn't like that. She's openly admitted that, hey, I grew up a certain way. No. She love on us now. She'll get my ass when I don't make a phone call after a while, but it's like when I was younger, her love language was, let me get my kids the things that they was asking for.
So my mom is a boomer. My mom is 75, 76.
Oof, nice.
Yeah. So
I was actually saying that too. Like you got moms that's boomers who probably had slave grandparents or their mother was a slave. Like
I would actually say the quality of the communication and the relationship was almost entirely based on whether you did what she wanted you to do or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would change according to, I remember when I realized that our relationship had changed. My mom definitely used to be like very affectionate and stuff like that. But when I became a teenager, that I don't know if it was her new relationship. I don't know if it was me being a rebellious teen, but that shit switched off and we were almost always like at each other arguing, like stuff like that. So I almost remember exactly when it happened, and it's something I tried to stay aware of because I'm a parent of a teenager now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter just started high school this year. So and the yelling is inherited. The yelling is inherited. It's a thing in the family that, you know, you just yell until you get burned out and then one person like walks off and none of the problems ever really become resolved. In my personal relationships, hardly ever do my friends hear me yell. Hardly ever will someone in my relationship hear me yell. They might go ages, years without seeing me get like truly angry.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been in situations where it happened once in a while and that person just happened to have been triggered by yelling.
Got it.
And I was forced to be like, all right, this is turning into something else. Like,
Mhm.
I'm excited. To me, I'm just excited, but to you, this is bringing up something traumatic, and so I have to chill. Like,
Understood.
yeah,
Understood. And that's the part about like you said, having a mother that, I mean, like you said, y'all probably had a dope ass relationship, but sometimes, and I think I know that just in my own experience, sometimes you have conversations with the significant other and you're telling them things. Oh, she's going through this. Like you as a teenager. Oh, you know, teenagers do this, do that. You're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to do that. The men start telling them what to do to you and stuff like that, and all this other stuff. And then all, you know, your relationship is different. You know,
Mm.
like and I guess it's just growing up as well. Like you, it's weird. So it's almost like subconsciously you're a threat, and then it's not even like you're a threat, but you're a threat to something,
To something. I
to
don't
to
know what
motherhood,
exactly,
probably.
but
Like you're threatening my motherhood. It's crazy because I was listening to I was reading a book, oh my god, All About Love, right? I was listening to that book.
oh, bell hook.
Something in there. I was like, oh shit! If people knew that this thing existed, they said that the boy grows up and he learns when he turns into an adult that his mother truly ain't as strong as he thinks she is. And I was like, yo, like the way that shit came off, it was like the respect, all that stuff. She's really not what she thinks she is. And I'm like, damn, like what it wasn't like a diss. It was more or less like a boy grows up with strength now where he stops respecting his mother. It was about disrespectful kids, obviously, but he stops respecting his mother because he realized, oh, you're not stronger than me. I'm actually stronger than you. I'm actually this, I'm actually that. So the language of how their relationship changed. Now you disrespect them more because you're like, you can't beat my ass like you used to. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's crazy. Like, and it's kind of similar a little bit to what we're kind of talking about. Like, where it's like that person feels threatened now. Your mom could potentially have felt threatened. Not saying that's the truth, but she could
I
potentially
feel like when I became a teenager, I saw my mom do things that pushed her off the pedestal. Now, as an adult, I could look back and be like, my mom was a human having a human experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I placed her on that pedestal and I was disappointed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it happened when her actions had me question her like intelligence. And then after that, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I would know better than that.
Yeah. That is exactly the part that I'm talking about. Like when you
So
realize certain things.
Physical thing, but it
Yes.
was a
Mental
intelligence thing
thing.
where I felt like,
Yes.
you know, I think I could go toe to toe with her now.
Right. And then you know who listen, and Marcus, I love you. B for Barkis, that motherfucker do that all that motherfucker do that shit all when it comes to some with his mom, oh my gosh, sometimes he be catching her. And I'm like, oh.
But see, that's a whole nother thing. It's like going toe to toe with her suggests a level of competition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to remove myself from our conflict now because I'm not competing with my mother. My mother is who she is. She has her experience. We're not fighting over resources or space anymore. Or I don't need her to validate me. Yeah. I don't need her to validate me anymore. And that freed me.
Facts. I feel like sometimes, and I'm gonna end it on this note, and I want you to be able to shout yourself out and get all your things going and all that other stuff because I need you to go ahead and do that part. Right now. Yeah, I feel you. So, I feel like just to that, like what you said, that she don't have to validate you no more, but you are the walking validation of what you've grown up to be. You've learned. Yeah. The person that you are is because she taught you in her own ways how to be who you are up into that teenager years or at the point where you started realizing it for yourself. And then you grew with that.
Yep. And I feel like I couldn't be who I am today if I didn't have those experiences, if I didn't have to go through my own healing and stuff. If I wasn't triggered. If I didn't have to do that, I wouldn't be who I am today. I can't be proud of who I am today without all the bumps along the way. So to some degree, I accept it. So
facts. I'm gonna tell y'all a joke. Hey, Mark, you ready to laugh? You know this is when I start realizing let the generation grow. Teach it still. I ain't stopping what I'm doing. My daughter is a primary example of teaching you how the fucking generation grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me, my daughter, Marcus's daughter, is all in the car, and me and Maya, that's her name. I'm sorry, me and my little cousin. I ain't gonna say her name. I'll blast it out on here, but I already did it. But fuck it. We're singing Michael Jackson, "Heaven Can Wait," and we're singing the shit out because I'm like, this is my fucking song. I love this song.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what type of ass, because I told my daughter, I said, yo, you're extremely smart. You ain't mean, you ain't nothing. I said, you're an asshole. I said, and she was like, and then look, I swear to no, this is my daughter. She was like, she accepts it, she knows it. So we're sitting there listening to "Heaven Can Wait," right? And I'm like, Gabby, you don't hear that, Gabby? All that greatness. I'm like, yeah, he told her "Heaven Can Wait." And Gabby said, well, I guess Michael Jackson, she said, well, I guess heaven didn't wait for him. I said, yo, what type of kid do I have to say? me and my cousin Maya looked at each other, and she was like, Gabby. And Gabby was like,
Yo,
what?
These kids are a different type of funny. I love, like, she if you funny and an asshole, you pretty much good in my book. But
yo, my daughter is a funny asshole. Yo, this, she said, well, I guess heaven didn't wait for him. I said, yo.
You can't be disrespecting our greats like that. He was taken too soon.
She didn't give a damn. Like, Gabby ain't trying none of that shit. She loved Michael Jackson. She absolutely loves him. Like, she was listening to us and she knew the hook. She didn't know the full song. Me and my cousin Maya was singing the full song because Marcus is a big Michael Jackson fan, so she most likely knows a lot of shit when it comes to Michael Jackson. But my daughter, she won't try none of that shit. She said heaven didn't wait for him. I'm like, oh no. Bruh, like, I love that kid to death. You don't understand. I wouldn't trade her for anything. Like, that's my road dog forever. I can tell. Watch when she get older. I'm like, yo, we're gonna be hanging out.
I can't wait.
She's just gonna be doing stuff. Like,
I can't wait.
You're a tall ass kid. That's what she on her way. I don't know if she's as tall as Gabby, but Gabby about 5'10".
She's not tall as your. She like 5'4", 4, 5'5".
Yeah, Gabby's 5'10".
She's 14, so
Gabby
still got a couple of inches in her.
Yeah, probably. Probably because I don't know. Gabby might hit 6 foot. She might hit 6 foot, and that's it. She'll be she volleyball now. She talking shit too. I'm like, Gabby. Damn. I'm like, I kind of like that. I like that, Gab. Go ahead, keep doing your thing. Like, so yeah. But Davinia, where can everybody find you? Let them know what you do. If what the podcast is doing, if that ain't working,
it hasn't come back yet.
We got questions that's sitting right here. You come on over. Come on over.
All right.
Yeah, come on over. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but they can find you
on Instagram. Davinia Models is my my public Instagram.
Your public Instagram.
My public Instagram is Davinia.
So that means don't follow on her personal shit. Got it.
I mean, I don't add just everybody. Remember, peace over everything. Peace over everything. So, that and
did I do it right?
will be rebooting my podcast. So I'll have more information for you guys later on that.
Did I post it right? Is that the right? Did I spell it right?
Yes. Yep.
Ah, there we go. Cool. Davinia Models on Instagram.
That is not that many Davinia. So as soon as you get my name up there, I should pop up.
Yep. There's not a lot of people in the world named Davinia.
Not that.
I'm lying. It probably is. We just didn't type it in to see how many people is actually gonna pop up in the world. But there's only one Michael Shaw Robinson. I promise you that one. I put everything I love on it.
All right. Yep. You said Shaw?
Google Shaw Robinson. Yep. I got two last names.
You have a hyphenated last name?
Yep.
So that's not your middle name?
No. My middle name is Robert.
Michael Robert
Shaw Robinson. Yep.
Shaw Robinson. That's too many Robs.
Only. Hey. Just saying. A lot of spelling. But look, I want to do part 2 next week. Part 2 is definitely going to happen next week. I already got the topic now. We're just going to continue with this on. We're going to do a part 2 of this, and we're going to head over to more culturally rooted questions, intimacy and emotional safety type questions, and growth and healing type questions. We're going to throw those in there and try to get that level of something going, because if I can get that going and we can talk about some more stuff, we can learn some shit, and then we can apply some shit, and we can grow to some shit.
Yeah, I'm with it. Education and community. Let's go.
Hey, there we go. Let's do it. Black people all day. You
All
know?
day.
Fuck Donald. No, I ain't gonna say that. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and leave off this podcast right now because I might get my ass served doing some shit.
I can't. They quick to.
You know what? Since y'all here, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of that. Yeah, I mean that Mike Hennessy music. I don't know if you heard any of that, but you know, we're just gonna play a little clip of what that thing looked like. You know, hold on.
Oh, you have some new music?
Listen, I got a whole 2 albums I was working on. 2.
I know you let me listen to one of them.
No, I got 2 albums. Like I literally have done 2.
I'm missing out. I gotta get over. You on Spotify, right?
Yes, I am on Spotify.
Yeah.
If y'all follow me on Spotify, y'all will see my name pop up, Mike Hennessy on Spotify. I'm trying to find the damn videos. Where's my videos? I don't go back too damn far. This is always a struggle right here.
What, trying to find your stuff?
Trying to find my stuff because I didn't put the names on them. That's the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, you put the names on it, it helps out a lot better. And I want to end my podcast by promoting my music. Shit.
That makes sense.
You know.
Your music should be all up in here.
It is, but I'm tripping because I can't find directly which one I was looking for.
You should put the date on it too, actually.
I know it's the date all over them because I downloaded them, but I don't have them on this file. I have them on my other podcast file.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I made like little funny like videos behind it, just being me. So come on. I'm sorry. So you can enjoy the music too. That's all I'm looking for is just that.
That's cool.
There you go. I found it. I'm gonna end it on that note. Don't judge me, y'all. One Google search and I found Morris Shaw Robinson. No. Michael Shaw Robinson. I didn't say Shaw Robinson. There's a Charles Shaw Robinson. But you ain't gonna find another Michael Shaw Robinson. I'll put money on that. You ready? Listen, what you want to bet? I'll do it right now. I will do it right now. Find Michael Shaw Robinson and send them to me. And it ain't me. No, I'm trying to be smart. It ain't me. Find one. I promise you, it ain't not one single one here. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video with my best friend song. I don't know if you ever heard of Divinia, but sit back, just go ahead. We'll talk backstage in a second. But hold on, let me see. I got 4 y'all. No, you don't. I promise you don't. You don't have another Michael Shaw Robinson.
Not 4.
Send it to me. And one did.
Oh,
It ain't no Michael Shaw Robinsons in this world.
that's crazy.
I literally, you know what's crazy? I did my own background check and can't find another Michael Shaw Robinson. That's how I know. Like, you sure? Because
So only you pops up on the background check?
yep, that's why every time I do a background check, they call me back in like a day because it don't take long to find me. Like, my name is that rare with it. So, yeah. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Let it end out.
My name is Donna Tover, and I am here looking for love. I'm a switchboard operator. When you hear someone say, hold please, there's a strong possibility it could be me. The key to a good relationship is honesty. Maybe you're ashamed of your past. I don't even care if you've been to prison. It depends what it's for. If I had it my way, my next relationship would last into eternity, but I'd love to make it a year. Would love to celebrate Christmas with someone. I want children for about an afternoon.